Well, it's a nice cold morning here in the Smokies, and I'm out driving the roads, and I found a really nice little scene here behind me. It's got a bunch of angled trees and then a really neat mix of bright yellow and then sort of the burnt orange, which I really like. I think that contrast is neat. And then it has this one sort of standout bright yellow tree kind of in the foreground to be a focal point. And then just all the curves and the sweeping of these trees is really neat, I think. Now, this is one of those deals where the trees are actually leaning severely. If you level things up, they're really angling. And so I photographed this both ways, with the camera level and letting those trees go. That creates its own kind of movement and sweep. But then I also angled the camera to make the trees more straight. So we'll see which way works out better. I'm not really sure, which is why I tried to photograph it both ways. I also used the 81B filter, so warming filter. I took some with and without that filter, so we'll get a chance to compare the transparencies and see what they look like. When I first started photographing this scene, it was a little more cloudy, and so I thought maybe I didn't need the 81B warming filter because the light was a little more even, not even, just a little warmer, less blue, just because it was a cloudy sky. But now there's some breaks in those clouds, and so some of the blue sky is showing through, and so the scene feels a little more blue to me. So that's why I tried it with the warming filter. So we'll see how that goes. So just the 450 millimeter lens on the Toho camera, and I used Provia and Velvia on this scene, so we'll see how that turns out. But now I'm going to get packed up and keep going. I'm hoping to head over the mountain over onto the Tennessee side of the park today and explore some more. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll find some more subjects to work on. Here's some of the film from this location. And I tried to give some choices here of both the straight and the angled. I wish I'd had a little more choices on the filtered versus non-filtered. But anyway, let's go through them. So they're all Velvia here. And I believe this one is the one without the filter, because you can see how blue the trunks go. And it turns out I really like that. The rest of these, I believe, had that filter, although this one I'm not 100% sure about because I've got a little bit of blue sneaking through in here, whereas this doesn't. These don't. So it's possible this one, this one's a little bit brighter, so it's possible if this one was the same density as this one. I don't know. You can see the blues are just not the same. So I still think this one has the filter. So I think all three of these have the warming filter, and this is maybe the only one that doesn't. But anyway, here we have the straight trunks, and here we have the curved trunks. I also, unfortunately, don't have the identical version here. You can see I changed the framing a little bit. So I pointed the camera up a little bit on this one to try to get rid of the little hillside here, which I thought maybe was a distraction. But it turns out I'm not sure I like. Now this mass of leaves is kind of low of center. I don't know. It is here too. But so these are all over the place, and it's kind of hard to tell. But where I'm coming down on this right now is I really like this one because of that warm, cool contrast. Certainly the filter got rid of, for the most part, of the blues. But in this case, I think the blues really work because of that warm, cool contrast. And maybe I reduced the blues a little bit in post, but to my eye, just on the light table, gosh, this is really attractive. I like it a lot. Now, I do think one of the problems, though, is this left side. So what I would do here is with my cropping L's, just sort of take a look at what I might do. I don't like this mass of yellow right here on that left. So I would come over something like that and get rid of that really bright spot right on the middle of that left edge, and do something like this. I would still darken the corners a little because you just don't want the brightest thing to be in the corners. But I think this works pretty well because you have the I think the straight trunks read better now after seeing them. It just looks like you didn't misalign your camera, but you still get that sweep of these branches, which is what caught my eye in the first place. So I think I'm going to go with this piece of Velvia, and this is the one I'll scan and show you that finished version now. Next, I drove around the park some more and used my Pentax 645Z digital outfit to capture several other images that I really like. Let's take a look at those here. Well, I found another roadside photograph to work on this afternoon. Drove around a good bit up high, and it was kind of cold and windy up there, but I found a few interesting things, and then it came back down to a lower part of the park, and the color is still really nice here, and I'm working on this series of sort of repeating dark trunks set against some past peak fall color. So I sort of like the emphasizing the repeating forms here, and they also are sort of leaning and curving, which gives some movement to the picture, and then of course you have the nice color in there as well. So I like this one pretty well, and I used Provia, and I also tried the 81A warming filter, and then I also tried a warming polarizer. So we'll see how that works. Hopefully I'll be able to tell in the film which is which, so we'll see how those all come out. But anyway, this might be it for today. I plan to go out a little bit more, but we'll see. Now tomorrow it's supposed to be rainy, so I think that's really good. I'm always excited when it rains here in the Smokies. Hopefully it's just kind of a light rain, gives a nice saturated look to the foliage, so I'm looking forward to that. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, I think that's it for now, and I'm going to keep, as usual, keep going around and looking to see what else I can find to photograph. And thanks so much for watching so far. Please stay tuned, and hopefully I'll have more fun images to show you soon. Well, here's the film and the filters from this setup, and I thought I'd do a little demonstration and comparison here because I thought it was kind of interesting. So all three films are Provia 100, and here are the filters that I use. Now this is the 81B warming filter, and you can easily see how warm it made this piece of film. Now this is the Stingray warming polarizer, and it certainly made things less warm than this one, but you can hopefully see in this video that it's a little bit warmer than one without a filter. And I'm only showing this filter here. This is just a normal polarizer, which I didn't actually use for this piece of film, but I just thought it'd be interesting to see if you could see the difference. I can barely see it. Like on this light table in person here for me, I can tell that this warming polarizer is a little bit warmer than just a non-warming polarizer. So I just thought I'd show you that. But again, this piece of film was made with no filter at all, and hopefully it looks a little bit cooler than the one that was made with the warming polarizer. And then clearly you can see how much warmer this one is with the 81B. So I thought that was kind of an interesting comparison. I think this is too warm, and I really like this one here. I still like a little bit of that warm, cool contrast, which is completely wiped out in this version. But I think I like the little bit warmer here than the completely sort of cool version here. So this is the piece of film I went with for the scan, and that's what I'll show you now. Near the end of the day, I photographed again with the Pentax and had several more setups I really like. I'll show you those now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.